Yo, what's going on? Winning formula time, courtesy of Mystic Lake. Thank you very much for the playoff sponsorship. I'm Paul Allen, joined by Pete Bercich, analyst for the Vikings Radio Network, former player and coach with your Minnesota Vikings, and Gabe Henderson with Vikings.com, the Vikings Entertainment Network, and the Minnesota Vikings Radio Network. Before we begin, it behooves us to recognize the importance of when you bring somebody off the bench and you put them in the game, don't mess up the game. Enhance and amplify the game. And that's what Tatum Everett did last week with winning formula. 1 for 1 on the bold predictions.
My bold prediction is going to be that Duke Shelley will get his first interception as a Viking against his former team.
Right here.
It's just going to be a poetic day for him.
That is awesome.
He plays with a lot of juice. He plays with a lot of heart.
Yeah.
And you know that he's going to want a little bit of revenge against his former team.
Duke Shelley, interception. Well done, Tatum Everett. And now we get into this playoff game against the New York Giants. We begin here with the analyst, Pete Bercich. When it comes to New York Giants quarterback Daniel Jones, with 700-plus rushing yards this year, what do you do to make sure when he scrambles, he doesn't ruin the game with his running?
Well, the first thing you have to do is understand what you're up against. This is a very well-coached team, meaning they don't go out of body. They don't try to do things schematically that don't fit them. What fits Daniel Jones? Attacking the middle of the field, and they have just a million different ways that they do that. Now, if you're good enough to take care of that, to take down the middle of the field, lock that thing down, then he goes to weapon number 2, which are his legs. You just have to be disciplined. In film room, we went through the Colts, had him dead to rights on a blitz. One guy just said, you know what, I'm going to go underneath. I'm not going to do what my responsibility is. And he's a better athlete and faster than you think. And he got outside, not just got outside, but he went north and south about 15 yards. He's a better scrambler than you think. You just have to be disciplined, especially disciplined when you blitz. Make sure you have your gap and your lane covered. And then when you pass rush, you know, get after him a little bit. You know where he's going to be. They don't bootleg and roll him out as much as they used to. Know where he's going to be, but you can't go out of body and try to do too much.
Gabe?
Yeah, contain that pocket. Put the pressure close, and then let him throw over your defensive lineman. A lot of times this past time, well, I guess the last time we played the New York Giants, you saw Daniel Jones stepping up in the pocket. We're running man-to-man, which means our linebackers' backs are turned. Daniel Jones has 8 yards of space before somebody even turns around to see him. So, yeah, you have to collapse the pocket, but also the linebackers, I think, they have to do a really good job with their eyes. I know Daniel Jones is not the number 8 that plays for the Baltimore Ravens, but at the same time, he can do that to you. He can run for 90 yards if you let him, but at the same time, don't give him that time. Don't give him that space. Collapse the pocket. Let him make some of those tough throws, and this Minnesota Vikings defense will be okay.
So let's stay there with Gabe and the winning formula with the Minnesota Vikings offense, and specifically the perceived proper run-pass mix for the totality of this game. And why I bring it up like that is on the Vikings' first touchdown drive Christmas Eve against the Giants, Dalvin Cook ran for 41 yards in the first quarter, 21 yards on the touchdown drive, closed by TJ Hawkinson's first touchdown of that game. The rest of the game, he had 23 yards. You know, so maybe it was taken away, maybe we got away from it. But what do you think is the proper run-pass mix against Dexter Lawrence and these Giants?
Run the ball at least twice. We didn't run the ball on consecutive plays until 11:20 in the fourth quarter. Dalvin Cook, yeah, he can run the ball. He can get the ball downhill, but at the same time, until you commit to the run. Okay, yeah, we ran the ball for 8 yards here. 2nd and 3, let's give it back to him also instead of throwing a quick pass, which we have been effective doing so, but you have to have the defense respect the run game. A lot of defenses don't respect our run game because we'll get 8 or 9 yards and then we'll pass the ball and get to Justin Jefferson and what he does with the ball. So Kevin O'Connell, I'm sure he's going to have that at top of mind, committing to the run game early and then sticking with it when it works.
Yeah.
It's working. It worked in the first quarter. Why? We ran the ball 6 times. The last 3 quarters, we ran the ball 8 times. Stick with it, and I think this Minnesota Vikings offense will be perfectly fine.
And Peter, you'll see on that touchdown drive, they're running Dalvin for 6, 8, 12, whatever it was, and they stayed in the I formation, offset I right, CJ in front of Dalvin. when they went play action off that, Giants were tripping. I mean, we were connecting passes left and right.
And this is an opportunity for us to kind of steal a page out of their playbook and what they do so well. You look at this defensive front, you want to run outside, right? Thibodeau is fast, and when you have fast players, you just run at them. You don't run away from them. They crack with their wide receivers so well.
Wow.
And what that causes the safeties to do is they have to make a decision. If I'm on a run support and it looks like a play action, I have to get down there and beat that crack block. Well, if our receivers can do that, so it's, D-line standpoint, run outside. Our receivers, crack, get in there, hit those guys, light them up. That way, when you do the bootlegs and you do the play actions, that's what the Giants do, right? They run that football, and those DBs are just trying to get down in there. Next thing you know, tight end's lined up in the fullback position, and he's running behind you. Do the same thing to them. That's why it's important. Run the ball to set up the pass. That's how we do it.
The bold prediction segment is red hot. Again, Tatum Everett off the bench, 1 for 1. So we're going to do our very best to keep that flow going and hopefully offer up bold predictions for you next week into another playoff game. But let's begin with Gabe and your bold prediction into this game against the Big Blue Wrecking Crew.
Big Blue Wrecking Crew will allow multiple scores on Sunday, but my bold prediction, I got on this shirt, says fight as one.
Yeah.
The Minnesota Vikings will win by more than 1 score against the New York Giants on Sunday. They did it last week in Chicago. That built some confidence. Now they know how to do it again.
Yeah, you might be feeling a little bit of a blowout here, like 13-14 or above, but you don't want to be on social media being Vikings Entertainment Network guy being like, we're going to kill them, right?
37-28, that's 9 points.
Oh.
Still a close game. I'm not saying we'll get 37 and we'll score 28, but
love it.
At least 9 points.
Yep.
Sure.
What about you?
KJ Osborne is going to catch his first playoff touchdown.
In his first playoff game.
I really think so. I really think that they're going to concentrate so much on Justin Jefferson.
Yep.
That's what, they tried.
And TJ.
Yeah, and TJ Hockenson. So I think I'm like, is it going to be a Hockenson game? Well, I think they're going to take care of Hockenson a little bit differently this time, and I think KJ Osborne is going to be the guy this week.
KJ, the cold-blooded Cane. Absolutely love the kid, and he's a wonderful player. My bold prediction goes to the Minnesota Vikings defense, having watched back the Vikings and Giants game. It's one of those games where you look at Zadarius Smith's his stats line at the end of the game, and you're like, okay, that's cool, but then you watch it back. And you watch all the attention that went into slowing Zadarius Smith, and he was inches from completely wrecking that game with a bunch of strip sacks. My bold prediction plays off Zadarius because of what he'll get attention-wise. Danielle Hunter has at least 2 sacks in this game. I think Danielle is going to be a force with which to be reckoned, and hopefully he has a big game. And that bold prediction will come to fruition. Thank you, Mystic Lake. Thank you very much for watching. That is your winning formula, a Curly Harris production. For Gabe and Pete, I'm Paul. Go Vikings and beat those Giants. Let's go!
Go!